Now I goes in the house. Mind you, I'm heated. But I got Caleb food. I just want to give him his food. And I want to go holler at Kiki real quick. So I go to Caleb's door. I'm like, do. He, give me a second. I'm like, Boo Man, open the door. He like, I'm busy. Give me a second. I'm like, Boo Man, I'm not up to play right now. Come on and open the door, man. He like, I just said I'm busy. I said, I'm busy too. So he like, well, if you're busy, just go do what you have to do. I said, Caleb, do not make me kick down your door. He said, you're going to be in a world of trouble. Now, all this talking that Boo Man is doing, he could have opened the door. But he just feel the need that he wants to play with me. So I said, you know what? I'm finna throw your food away. I was already mad, right? I really wasn't going to throw his food away, but I was upset. So I'm like, I'm finna throw your food away. And I started walking away from the door. He opened the door. He like, wait, my food is here? I'm like, why are you playing with me? He like, I'm not playing. I'm like, what are you in here doing? He like, on the phone with mom. I'm like, huh? He like, on the phone with mom. I'm like, he like, you want to talk to it? I'm like, first off, I'm lost for words. And you know I don't want to talk to her, boy. So I'm like, he like, you sure you don't want to talk to mom? I'm like, he said, I said I was busy. And so you hear my mom, you can hear her voice, right? I don't know what she's saying, but Caleb don't got the phone to his ear. So Caleb like, what you say, mom? So she said, let me talk to Rody Dodie. You can hear my name, right? My mama got a loud mouth. She loud. So I'm like, he like, here you go. Thanks for my food. Can you get out of my room? I'm like, no, I can't. I'm going to stay right here. He like, why? I want to eat my food. I'm like, go wash your hands and then start eating. So I'm like, hello? She said, you going to kick what door down? I'm like, no, because he was playing. He always don't want to never open up the door for me. I just wanted him to eat his food fresh and hot. She said, what you get him? I'm like, oh, he got some rib tips and stuff and some fries and stuff. She like, okay. She like, how's everything going? My mama was being nice. My mom was legit being nice. I'm like, everything is going good. She like, where's Marky? She's asking me, where is Marky? So immediately in the inside, it felt like she knows something. When I feel like something is happening and she mentions something that got something to do with whatever's happening, I feel like she might be on or something. She might know something. So I'm like, he in the bathroom. I'm like, he been in there for a minute. She like, okay. She like, well, tell him I love him. She like, I love you too. She say, and be nice to your brother. Don't be kicking nothing that y'all ain't pay for. I'm like, I'm not kicking nothing. Talk about you gonna kick the door down or knock it down. So she like, you want to talk to your dad? I talked to my dad. Like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, oh, it's going good. Now, I know I can finesse out my dad. I can finesse my dad. So I'm like, Dad, I can't wait till you come home. I'm like, you think we could do a dirt bike? So he like, you know how to dirt bike? I'm like, nah, but I want to learn. I want to learn. He like, yeah, we can find something with dirt biking. Mind you, I do not know how to do no dirt biking, none whatsoever. I'm just trying to finesse. So I'm like, when you coming home so we can do it? You coming early? So he like, well, we coming home late tomorrow. So I'm like, well, like at night? He like, nah, probably like in the dust time. So I'm like, well, not tomorrow, just like the next day. He like, yeah, just early still. So I was like, okay. He like, why? I'm like, because I wanted us to be able to set it up. So I'm gonna be looking for where we could do dirt bike ride. He like, okay. He like, okay. He like, where's Boo Man? I'm like, oh, he's right here. He like, let me holler at him real quick before I get off the phone. I get a phone to Boo Man. So I'm standing there. So Kayla like, hi, Dad. He's talking, right? So I'm standing there. So Boo Man looking at me. He like, I'm like, first off, I'm not leaving out this room because number one, I don't want him to be walking around the house on his cellular device, on his, because she didn't call the house phone. She called Boo Man's cell phone. So I didn't even know if he was on the phone or not. So I was totally shocked when I came to the door. So I need to make sure that he's completely off the phone with them. So I'm standing, he like, get out my room. I'm like, Caleb, no. So my dad is talking. He like, yes, I hear you. I hear you, Dad. So they talking, boom. He gets off the phone. So he like, now I'm off the phone. Get out my room. I'm like, why you didn't tell me Mama called you? He like, well, I came out there. I didn't see you. But then I heard loud noises. So I knew you was outside. And I didn't want to get you in trouble. So I just came back in my room. And I talked to Mom. I'm like, did Mom say anything about me? I'm trying to get all the information. He like, no, she was just checking on me to see if I ate. I'm like, okay. And what you tell her? That you was coming with my food. I'm like, did you tell my friend bring you the food? He like, no, I just told her you was coming with the food. I'm like, okay. I'm like, did you tell her I have any company? He like, no, to all your answers. I'm like, you better not been to rat me out. He like, what you gonna do? I'm like, you rat me out, you're gonna be in big trouble. You ain't gonna never have ribs again. He like, you can't stop me from having ribs. I'll just have mom to get them. So I'm like, are you gonna tell on me? He like, no, I'm not. I just want to eat my food. So he's getting loud. So I hear front door now opening. So I'm like, first off, I know Mark is not here. So I shouldn't be hearing my front door being open, none of that. So I go downstairs real quick. I'm looking. Beth is coming in. Cody is coming. I'm like, hey. So Raymond, he just coming from downstairs. So I'm like, he like, what's going on? He like, I'm just coming from the bathroom. I'm like, hey, y'all. I'm like, no, nobody can't be in here. So Beth like, no, the police had rolled past. I'm like, huh? What? She said the police ran past, drove past. I'm like, okay. She like, but they slowed down and they put the light towards our way. So we walked in. I'm like, all right. I'm like, y'all was smoking out there? So Beth like, no, we waiting on y'all. So boom, I'm like, all right, stand right here at the door. So Cody like, nice place. I'm like, it's my mom's house. So he's just standing there. So I'm like, I just really don't like him. So I'm looking out the window. So I'm like, hey, they might be gone. I'm like, y'all just sit on the porch. Don't stand there, just sit on the porch. So they go back out, they sit on the porch. So before Beth shut the door, she like, how long you finna be? I'm like, just give me a second. So Raymond like, yeah, I still gotta roll mine up. So Beth like, look, that was my last one, but if y'all got some more empties, we can roll more. I'm like, no, this it. This is my last one. I'm like, I gotta work tomorrow. Boom. She shuts the door. Raymond like, hey, I'm like, hold on, give me a second. He like, no, bro, let me talk to him. I'm like, give me a second. He like, bro, what's up with that Kenyatta girl? I'm like, I don't know. I think she like me. So he like, and what we gonna do about Mark? Time steady ticking. He like, time steady ticking. I'm like, I'm gonna figure something out. Just give me a second. He like, all right, a second. I'm like, a second. So boom, I go upstairs right now. I'm already mad because people are tugging me left and right. Okay. But now I need to go holler at her because I was upset and I wanted to give it to the sin. I wanted to give it to who it belonged to. So I go to my door. Boom, I'm trying to get to my door. My door locked. Our room door locked. So I'm like, open my door. I ain't even knock on it. What am I knocking on my door for? Open my door. So she, boom, unlock it. She on the phone. She like, yeah, I'm going to call you back. She hangs up. I'm like, why you lock my door? She like, because I didn't want nobody walking in. I'm like, who would be walking in my room? She like, I don't know. The girl you were just hugging? I'm like, it's not what you think. She like, okay, tell me what I think. I'm like, she came over here because she wanted to see if we could still be together. And I told her no. She said, you just told her no? Did you tell her you had a girlfriend? I'm like, no, that's none of her business. She said, so she came over here because she want to be with you. And you didn't tell her no because you have a girlfriend. I'm like, even if I didn't have a girlfriend, Kiki, I would not talk to her again. So she said, okay, I believe you. I'm like, so that's it. She like, what do you want me to do? Fight you? I'm like, no. I'm like, it's not what you think. She said, it's not what I think when I saw Kenyatta here. It wasn't what I thought when y'all was at the workplace and y'all got caught in the back hugging. I'm like, but and let me guess, you were just being nice. So why do somebody I have to date have to be nice to other women? I'm like, I knew her before I knew you. Okay. I'm like, I felt sad for her. Okay, you felt sad for her. I'm like, she like, so do you want to be with her? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go smoke. I don't got time. She like, no. I'm like, don't do that. She like, no, listen to me. I waited up in here in this room waiting on you. So answer me. I'm like, no, I don't want to be with her. If I wanted to be with her, I would have been with her and not with you. So she said, yeah, sure. I'm like, I'll be back. She like, and I'm going too. I'm like, no. I'm like, you staying here? She like, I'm going out. I'm like, okay, well, go out. I'm going to stay here. So she like, so we going to act like this. I'm like, I'm going through something right now with my brother. I said, and I don't want to take it out on you. She like, okay, I was coming over here to talk to you because I wanted to know what was going on. But for to see somebody that's mine hugged over somebody else, no, I have a fucking problem with that. I have a fucking problem. But I'm like, who you talking to? She like, I'm talking to you, Roshan. So as we arguing, she end up coming up kissing me. It's like a heat of the moment. Boom, she kissing me. So I grab her. I don't know why, but I grab her. We are in it. So boom, I'm pulling my pants down. I'm grabbing her roughly. We are, Joe, sitting on the edge of the bed, and I got my arm around her waist, and we're going. We're going. So as I feel like we're having that moment, all you hear is, do. I ain't finished with my ribs. I'm like, okay, just up. So he like, can you wipe my hands? So I'm like, let's stop. She like, no. I'm like, yeah. So he trying to come in the door, but I locked the door behind me. So he trying to come in my room door. I'm like, boom, man. He like, I got sauce on your doorknob now. I'm like, I'm gonna hurt you. So you hit his feet. Slam, he go back in his room. So I'm like, we'll talk later. She like, am I spending the night? I'm like, are you? She like, but what's going on with their brother? So she butting up her stuff back, getting her stuff together. I'm like, he's in jail. I'm like, overthrowing the shoe, and the rocks was inside the shoe. I'm like, we just need somebody like a guardian to get him out. She like, I'm older than y'all. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you can say you are auntie. She said, yeah. She like, let's go get him. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, I'm not gonna even smoke. Because I don't want to be walking inside no police station looking super lit. Like, no, like, let me go handle that. My brother's way more important. So I leave out, right? Boom, I go knock on Caleb's door. I'm like, let's go to the bathroom. He like, okay. I almost cleaned my hands with the dry towel. I'm like, so you weren't going to wash them? He like, but I still wiped them. I'm like, come on. So we washing his hands. Boom. Come on, let's get your hands going. Boom, we get his hands done. He wiggle it out. Boom. He like, okay, snack. I'm like, no, slow down. I'm like, you already have popcorn early. He like, okay, but I just ate. I'm like, let your food digest. I'm like, I'll make you a milkshake. He like, okay, sounds good. He like, with 2 chocolate chip cookies inside? I'm like, all right, with 2 chocolate chip cookies inside, just go. So boom, he goes in his room. Now I stays in the bathroom. I get myself together. Boom. So Raymond like, man, how long you gonna take, Rody Dody? I'm like, I'm coming. So I come downstairs. Boom, Kiki comes behind me. So he like, bro, I'm like, my fault. I'm like, boom, man, hands. I gotta make sure he good. So I'm like, look, Kiki, right? I'm like, well, she gonna go up there to the police station and we gonna go get my brother. He like, oh, all right, cool. I'm like, she gonna be my auntie. He like, oh, that's cool. He like, all right, so when we going? I'm like, right now. I'm like, we ain't finna smoke. He like, you sure? I'm like, you think I'm finna go in the police station looking zooted? No. So he like, all right, so boom. We walk out, right? Now, mind you, I supposed to make Caleb his milkshake, but I'm not making it just yet, and we ain't gonna be gone that long. So boom. I shut the door, I lock it. So Beth like, oh, y'all finally ready? I'm like, yeah, my fault. I'm like, look, I'm gonna be back. We can't smoke right now. So she like, why not? I'm like, we got something to do real quick. She like, so we waited all this time. I'm like, we got something to do right now. Y'all can smoke without us. I'm like, just go ahead and smoke. So Cody like, see, that's what I said, what? I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Beth. I'm like, I swear, I just don't like you. He like, and I don't like you neither. The feelings are mutual, right? Not like you. Whatever. So boom, we split out. We walk half a block. Boom, we get in Kiki car. Gone. Skirt. Pulls up in front of the police station. Boom. So we sits in there. Now, I'm nervous, okay? I feel like I got to defecate. I feel like I got a whole, like, I feel like my posterior is about to be throwing up. That watery defecate. I'm that nervous because I'm like, oh my God, like we finna go inside the police station. So she like, okay. She like, you ready? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. So she like, all right, come on. So boom, we goes inside the police station. We sit down, right? So the police officer like, you been helped, you been seen. So she goes up there first and then I come behind her. So she was like, yeah, I'm here to pick up so-and-so. He needed a guardian. Boom. So they're like, oh yeah, we still have him here. So I'm like, hey, can I see him? I'm like, that's my brother. So he was like, and you are who? And so she was like, oh, I'm the auntie. So it was like, okay, let me get your card. Let me get your ID. So she's like, okay. So boom, she getting the ID. You're like, and I don't have the, okay. By chance, the mom, the father, you talk to the mom and father. Can we get a phone number? So immediately when he said that, I was just like, what? I'm like, a phone number. I'm like, yeah. So I immediately give him the house number. I give him the house number. I didn't give him my mama's cellular device and that. So he called the house, right? He's calling the house. So boom, he calls the house again. So now when 911 is calling, it could come up unknown. It could come up, whatever it came up, Boo Man picked up the call. So Boo Man is on the phone. So he like, hey, how you doing, little guy? So you hear the cop saying, hello, how you doing, little guy? So in my mind, I'm like, I just know. So he say, is your mom or your dad, is they home? Can I talk to your mom and dad? So whatever Caleb say, he say. So the cop hung up. He said, so your mom and dad is not home? I'm like, no, that's why my auntie is here. He like, okay, well, we at least want to make sure that this is the auntie. Okay. And what's your name? And so she gives the cop her name. So he like, okay, I'll be right back. So he go gets the actual cop that took Mark in. So the cop come out. He like, oh, he like, hey, nice to meet you. So he shook Kiki hand. So he like, talking to Kiki. So he like, what's your name? And so Kiki tell him her name. And so he like, okay, he like, and you are the auntie, right? Like, yeah. So he goes back there, right? So we're just waiting. I'm like, he going to go get Mark. All right, going to go get Mark. Let's go. So we standing and we're standing and I'm like, should we pop a squat? Should we take a seat? Boom, he come back there. He comes from the back, the cop. He said, what'd you say your name was again? And she said it again. He like, he named his auntie names and your name was not called. She like, huh? So the cop went back to ask Mark, what's your auntie's name? So I was like, oh my God. So basically we blew the case. So he like, all right, so no, we're not going to release him. He like, we're going to wait for the mom, the dad, the grandma, or one of the aunties that he named. Okay. So I was like, okay. He like, are you really done? So she like, yes, I am. So she like, well, can I see him? So he like, well, yeah, y'all can come back here. Y'all can see him. Come on. Y'all came all the way down here. I admire that. Come on. So, you know, like cops always like trying to be cool, but not cool. Like, I admire that about y'all. So I'm like, I really want to kick him in his shins. So boom, Mark is in a whole, it's like about a couple of holding cells, but they up there where the cops is at. Like he not back there with like jail. He just in a holding cell. Still got a TV, all that. So I'm like, Mark, he like, bro. So he come up, I'm like, oh my God. He like, that's why they asked me. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, next time. He like, but they asked me the name. I didn't know why. I thought you probably called one of our aunties. I'm like, you okay? I'm like, I got to figure something out. He like, what you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I got to figure something out. I'm like, I talked to mom. I wanted to talk to you. He like, what? I'm like, yeah, so much going on. I'm like, I'm going to get you out. I promise. He like, bro. He like, I'm scared. I'm like, I got you. I promise. So the officer say, all right. He like, come on. He like, y'all gotta go. Y'all can't be back here that long. So Marky like, hey, I love you, bro. I'm like, I love you too. I'm like, you gonna be out, don't worry. So I asked the officer, I'm like, I thought you said that y'all might let him go. He said, yeah, we might let him go. We'll see. We gotta have another talk with him. We're waiting on Christopher Peoples to come to as well, because it's another situation that he's talking about. So I don't know how many fights you guys had or what has ever happened, but we're gonna make sure we do paperwork. So you guys won't be able to go over there. And he would not be able to go over there where you guys live. We got to keep it safe for y'all, okay? He like, especially your dad is a firefighter. I said, by chance, did y'all get in contact with my grandpapa? He like, no, we didn't get in contact, but we did try to reach out to him. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll reach out to him. I'm like, and see if he could come and get Mark. He like, yeah, if you can. He like, just make sure you send somebody up. He like, we tried to call a few people that Mark gave us. So I'm like, oh, okay. So Mark gave him. So Mark didn't care. Mark was gonna throw himself under the bus. He gave them grandpapa number. You feel me? So I respected that. And plus, I was already telling the cop anyway that our grandpapa worked for law enforcement. So, you know what I'm saying? Whatever him and Mark talked about, I was like, man, I wish I could go back there and talk to Mark again to let him know, be careful what you look, because it's going to get the mom. But I think Mark is just desperate. He just want to get up out of there. So, boom, we leave out. Raymond comes, pop out the car. He like, where's Marky? I'm like, it didn't work. So, I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, man, how I'm going to be able to sleep? We get home. Boom, we pull up in front of my crib. Us three we just chill, boom, smoke. I'm like, hey, Raymond, I'm like, you want to spend the night? He like, yeah. I'm like, you can call your girl over too. So he's like, all right, cool. Boom.